Welcome back to the Real AFTV podcast. This is the Random Take, and if you didn't know, this is the show about fishing and random takes from random 10,000 lakes. We are in the Random Take, and we are going to talk about. We're going to do quick fantasy football thing, quick,
Yeah.
because I got questions, and then we're going to talk about Cartoon Network. We've talked about cartoons before. We're going to talk about the Cartoon Network. There's some shit going on.
But first, I'm stepping in here to throw this out and to say that we are going to be doing a special special of the Halloween kind.
I forgot
because
to
Halloween
say
is
that at the
coming
beginning.
up.
Thank you.
I'm a Halloweener, and I like
Me too, man.
carving pumpkins and all this fun jazz. I ordered myself a new Halloween pumpkin carving little to keep all my tools and stuff.
Dude,
I had
shit, yeah.
stuff already, but I'm like, I just need a place because I've been carrying it around in an old Navy bag that my wife had for 12 years now. I'm like, I just need a nice place to keep my things.
Yeah,
so I got myself
maybe
a
bring
nice
that to the
bag.
Maybe bring that for the Halloween special because I'm super curious about that. Anyways,
I'll show you some of the clay carving tools because I'm serial and I haven't been hitting these pumpkins since my kid was born, but this year I'm going hard, bro. I'm doing at least 2 pumpkins.
Yeah, dude.
But
on Halloween, because we're every other Monday podcast, me and Tim already talked about it. This one's coming out this week, and then next week, literally 1 week from now, is Halloween. And I was like, shit, it's technically our off week, dude. Should we do our Halloween special then? Because and anyways, long story short, we're doing Halloween special. Dropping on Halloween. Fuck yeah, Tim.
Halloween
Thank you for bringing that
dropping
up.
on Halloween. I know that this is going to be airing before Halloween, so I'm representing with my Jason shirt on. This is from the video game. I probably said this here before, but this is Jason from the Friday the 13th video game. It says, you and your friends are all dead. Game over.
Yes.
It's perfect. I love video games. I love horror movies. It's a little bit of a twist between the two of them.
It's so good.
But I forgot what I was going to say.
No. It's okay. I got you.
Oh, movies.
Yep.
I was going to say before Halloween is a good time to be watching movies and stuff. So you can come and listen to it. He's talking a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to hit up some Halloween movies right now, Hellraiser. I have mentioned Hellraiser on here before. Hellraiser is the movie with Pinhead. Yeah. The whole BDSM looking dude. And I was like, it is confusing. I don't know what's going on. You know what's not confusing? The remake that just came out in 2022. I watched it and I am in, bro. What? It is good. I like it. Then
what's it
give
called?
It a chance. Hellraiser.
What? They just called it Hellraiser again?
It's a reimagining. Really? The first one was some dude that's into BDSM trying to bring his mistress back to life. She got killed, and every time he sacrifices a person to this box thing, she becomes a little bit more, and there's a weird makeout scene where she's a person that doesn't have any skin anymore, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Those movies are confusing. This one was really well done, I thought, and give it a chance, because as I'm watching it at the beginning, I'm kind of skeptical, and I'm like, don't
get too far into it. Let's save this one for the Halloween special.
I'm just saying, just this real quick, just to be I was a bit skeptical, just being okay, this is a little bit of a story difference, because this one, even if you read the description says it is a woman struggling with addiction. And then she comes across this. So it's a woman as the lead role instead of a man. She's struggling with addiction instead of this guy that just likes to get weird ass whipped or whatever. But it's some weird shit in the first one, but this one is really well done. And I thought the beginning of it was a little bit slow, where I'm kind of waiting. I don't know about this one.
Okay.
Halfway through, I'm it's getting better. And as it's going on, I'm following along. I know what's happening here. This is so much better than the first one. It's everything that the original did. But I know what's happening. I'm not sitting here going what is happening right now?
Well, hell yeah,
So
dude. We'll have to dive into that. What is it on?
yeah,
Like, where did you watch it?
I think it's on Hulu.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, actually.
Yeah, I think this
So people out there listening, check in on that one then before
was yeah,
Halloween.
and I was very impressed. Like IMDb and like it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Like
Okay.
it's one of
Okay.
those where it's only like 60%, but it was like 60% of critics liked it and 60% of users liked it. So it's like the majority of people that watched it liked it. And I don't know, the
Right.
other 40% don't watch horror movies. I'm not
Right. Well,
sure.
that's what I was gonna say is like I probably won't watch it, but I definitely took that
Yeah.
note down. We're definitely gonna talk about it no matter what. Like in the Halloween
Yeah.
special, we'll talk about
And
it.
I
So
got more suggestions, a little bit of a teaser. Come and check that other one out because I got some old school shit that I was watching that is just bonkers. Some stuff that I've been hearing about that's just like,
okay.
these ones are
Yes.
the kind that are so bad it's good. And I'm watching it going like, they weren't wrong.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. So yes, please come back next week on October 31st, the day of Halloween. We are going to launch a Halloween special. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that shit for sure. But until
Oh
then,
shit. Yeah.
Tim.
I'm sure I'll watch more between now and then. I'll have some more stuff to bring to the
Yes.
table.
Yes. The w- a slasher transition guillotine league. I would need an update. I need an update. I can't handle it anymore.
I am still in, not chopped. What up?
Yeah. Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
things are going well. The only thing I regret currently is I just picked up a player that nobody else even bid on, and I was like, this is kind of crazy.
Okay.
Thinking like he is a rookie. He is Chris Olave. He plays for the Saints.
The
I was
Saints.
gonna say St. Paul. Like
Right.
my
I
brain
thought you were
just
gonna
did
say
that.
something
Like,
else. I was like,
not
"Who's
that's
Saint
not what I'm trying to. It is New Orleans, St. Paul
Orleans?"
Saints.
Yep.
If anybody's listening from out of state, that is our Minnesota minor league baseball team is the
Right.
St. Paul Saints. So that's why my brain was going there. But the New Orleans Saints, he is a receiver. He's
Okay.
been doing really good. And he got me 14 points on Thursday.
Ooh, okay.
Put up like
Okay.
100 yards and like 7 or 8 catches. So like the only part that I'm saying is like the regret is when you see the waiver wire that you've
Uh-huh.
put money on it, and I put out like $106 because for those of you that don't know, a guillotine league, just whoever is the lowest scorer each week gets cut. Your team is done, and all of your players hit the waiver wire, so
Mhm.
everybody has a chance to bid on it. And then there's a fictional amount of money that each person has called fab, and it has 2 A's in it. It's stupid. It's like future acquisition budget is what it should be, but there's 2 A's because it's like future acquisition arbitrary. I don't know. There's a second A word. I have no idea what it is. It's stupid. Everybody just calls it fab. You
Yep.
know what it is if you're in the league. We got $2,500 each person to play with, and you just bid on these players, and whoever has the highest bid gets the player. I bid like $106, assuming because you're trying to play that kind of like a Price is Right. I'm trying to play
Ah,
Price is Right, where I'm
yeah,
like, maybe
sure.
somebody will go 105. I'm going to go 106. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to go
Right.
$1 above
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
and then screw them over. Nobody bid on him. I could have got him for nothing.
yeah.
So it's like, God damn, it just wasted $100. But also, it's like I can't be too mad at it. I don't understand why nobody else bid on him. For
Right,
sure,
right,
there's
right,
players out there, there are people out there that could use receivers, and you pass them up. And
right.
now I'm pretty content with where I'm just like, I'm not gonna touch my money. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna
Yep.
see how things pan out because
Yep.
I planned ahead. I made some good moves, and
Nice,
I'm
nice.
savvy with the notes and the news. I follow a lot of things, so when stuff
Yep.
breaks, I hear the things and I go pick up players before
Right.
anybody else can. So I got Daryl Henderson. He's a running back. Currently, he is the number one running back for the Rams because they had
Mm,
Daryl Henderson and
mm.
Cam Akers splitting carries, and then Cam Akers is reportedly on the trade block. He's not even starting. They decided that they're just not even
Ooh,
not starting. He's not even playing. They
right.
decided
He's
they
sitting
weren't
on the
going to play
bench
him at
right now.
all.
Oh
When they
shit.
decided that they were going to try to trade him for something and they said he wasn't playing anymore, I was just like, well, Darrell Henderson is available because nobody had these guys because they weren't doing real great while they were splitting carries.
Oh
So I
yeah, yeah,
picked
yeah,
him
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Last
Nice
week
move.
he scored a touchdown and got like, I don't know how many yards, but a touchdown plus yards is good enough.
Right, right.
I had Rashad Penny, who is notorious for getting hurt, and his backup is a rookie running back that is supposed to be really good, but it's like he just needs his opportunity.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
somebody had him,
The
got cut
rookie?
from the league. The rookie, somebody had him, got cut from the league. Nobody picked him up. And I was like, well, I think I'll just handcuff. And a handcuff basically means that you're picking up the backup in case anything happens to the starter.
Yep.
Rashad Penny broke his ankle. He's out for the season.
Oh shit.
I got the backup not like playing 100%. The rookie out there is coming in looking like gold. He is doing an awesome job.
Yeah, dude.
And I paid nothing for him.
Right.
So I have 2 stellar running backs, plus my first round pick was a really good tight end. And my second round pick was a running back that should have been a first round pick because Alvin Kamara is who I got with the first round pick. But he was a second round pick because there's a looming, like maybe he'll get suspended thing over his head.
Mm.
But as far as the legality goes of the courts and everything,
Mm-hmm.
really looks like none of that shit's going to happen until next year. So
Right.
it's like,
Yeah,
I'm
because he'll
willing
be
to
able to
play this
drag it
game.
out until he'll be able to like play it out in court and delay the court date and
Yep.
appeal and everything like that, and he'll be able to play his season before any
Yeah.
of it gets to like actual judge throwing down the hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So right
Mm-hmm.
now, because I picked up that receiver, I have 3 really good running backs. I have a really good quarterback. I have, I think the number 2 tight end, Travis Kelce, I think is better than him. So it's Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. I have the number 2 tight end
Mm-hmm.
in the league. And I have the Denver Broncos defense, which has been stellar. I'm
The only reason that
my
team's
team,
maybe
like, not trying to like brag it up because I'm superstitious as far as that stuff goes. I'm not
right.
trying to be like I have a stellar team.
No.
But for right now, I am super like,
Well, how
if
you
I
started
ended
it,
up having a bad
can
week and I
like
got chopped,
yeah.
I'm not going to feel bad that I didn't spend any more of my fab to get better players because I'm
Right.
content
Yep.
with being like, I should have a good enough team to not be the lowest scorer.
Right.
You
Right.
know, because the name of the game is to not be the top scorer.
Right.
It's to just make sure you're not the last place.
Right. Right.
So
And
I
everything
think
you've been doing right now, like you said, you're saving cash and just getting a team that you're proud of, that you're happy with, right? Like you're just like this team cannot get last place in your head, right? Like that's the game
that's
you're
what I'm
playing.
feeling right now. Like on paper, like
Mhm.
it's possible that they could all have bad weeks and I could get
Of
last
course,
place.
anybody that
But
could happen
on
anytime.
paper, my team should be good enough that I'm just like content. Like if it happens, I go, damn it. It's just
Right.
like the dice, like
Right.
I
The
got a
dice
bad
roll didn't
roll
go
of
in
the
your favor
dice.
this week. Like,
Everybody,
mhm.
I got like a bunch of numbers that didn't match up. It wasn't a run. It wasn't nothing. I got nothing. I can't use this for Yahtzee at all. There's nothing. I guess I'd
I
take a
guess I'll scratch
chance.
my Yahtzee. Damn it.
Yep, scratch the Yahtzee. That's what's going on right now. I have that team and I'm just like, I'm content. I'm gonna wait and just try to hold my money. And I think I learned my lesson with this Chris Olave too, where it's like, I think he could really be a big part of my offense. But I just spent $100 that I didn't need to.
Mhm.
Just wait until everybody claims their people, and maybe there's somebody that didn't claim. I also have Jalen Waddle on my bench, who's a really good receiver, and that was another one where it was like nobody picked him up from the week before, and he has these big games when Tua Tagovailoa is
Oh,
playing. What a
nice.
name that is, huh?
No
Straight out of
kidding. Yeah, you nailed it though,
Hawaii.
as far as I
Yeah.
know.
It was pretty close. That last name came out a little bit wrong, probably because of that fistful of bourbon. But but yeah, he was really good when he was in, and then that was the guy. If you saw like the news going around, that got concussed like crazy. like had a concussion. They were like, "Oh, he's good to play," and then the next week got like knocked out.
Yeah.
And like to the point where he's like on the ground throwing up gang signs, like.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's
so
the best way to put it. Throwing up gang signs on the ground. Yep.
yeah. So yeah, he got knocked out hard, and he's been
Right.
out for a couple of weeks.
Real
But I
bad.
think when he comes back, maybe he should be good. But that Jalen Waddle's just on my bench anyways. It's just waiting to see if everything gets back to normal. He's just one of those like bye week replacements if I need him.
Right on.
So that the guillotine league was going good, and I'm not going to get into the whole spiel or like the other thing. Like I won 2 years in a row in my dynasty league. The league blew up. We redrafted.
Yeah.
The other years it was like an auction league where you could really go out and get the players that you wanted. And this year it was kind of like it was a snake draft, a slow snake draft. It took a while to do. It was like everybody had 8 hours a pick. So I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks it took us to do the draft. But things have gone very poorly over there. I have the worst record in the league.
Damn.
Mainly because
Who's the worst?
Well, my main running back has been out a couple of weeks to start the game or to start the season. Started playing, and then this last week he sat out because he said he had some knee tightness. It's J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins had a pretty bad leg injury where he ended up tearing like his ACL, MCL, and his hamstring like tore from. So it was like everything.
Shit.
Yeah, everything like related to his knee was like tore.
Toast.
So it was like about as worse, like about as bad as you could get. So it took a long recovery time, and I'm like, okay, but when he comes back, he'll be fine. And he came back, played a couple of games, said he felt some tightness, and just today they said that he had some orthoscopic
surgery again.
Surgery, and he's out for another 4 to 6 weeks. Jesus. My quarterback. Yeah, my quarterback week 3 broke his ankle. He's out for the season. Shit. So I've had poor luck, but today I made a decent trade randomly I had one of the stud running or wide receivers, rookie wide receivers, and this guy is a Green Bay fan. So he was willing to pay up to get the backup running back for Green Bay, who could be a stud down the road if the starter ever leaves. I don't know how long that's going to take, but he offered me a stud running back that has a tore ACL. So it's like my season's almost over. I can wait till next year.
Right.
So a stud running back, that guy's backup. So I'll have him to be able to start right now because he'll be the starting running back and a first round draft pick.
Oh.
So nice. I kind of set myself up nicely for next year, but yeah, I'm almost throwing in the towel
already and trying to make moves.
Well, my record is 1-5. Things have just gone poorly for me. I started the Miami quarterback last week, who was their third string quarterback, but because I had a hurt quarterback, like I've just been trying to stream, and I was like, they're playing us, the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
And our secondary has not been playing well. And I knew this kid could run too.
Oh.
So I was like, he's got that Konami code. I'm going to get some of these things. Dude hits somebody else's helmet as he's trying to throw in the first quarter. And he only plays like half a first quarter for me. And then he's out the rest of the game. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like this has been happening every time. J.K. Dobbins, when the knee tightened up too, was last week.
Yeah.
And he only played like, I think through this, like halfway through the second quarter.
Shit.
So I got 2 players that barely played. Things didn't go well.
Right.
And this week, the guy I'm going against had the Cardinals defense who had 2 pick sixes.
Oh, what?
Like who has 2 picks?
Who
and I'm just like,
game. Nobody does that.
This season is over. Like I am jinxed. I cannot do anything right. There's nothing I can do. So
you win twice, you got to lose some, you know?
Yeah. So when this guy is like, will you take an injured player who should be really, really good?
Right.
And a first round draft pick plus a guy for 2 current players I can use? And I said, yep. So
I am looking to the future now. I am done
it's
with
a
this.
dynasty league. We're holding on to most of these people. So and we only hold all of our starters plus 2 bench spots. So I'm doing that math in my head. Like I'm cutting 5 of these guys anyways. I might as well try to trade
Right.
who I'm going to end up cutting anyways to try to
Right.
get better pieces. Why not? And I already traded away my first round draft pick. And I should say this week, my 2 top receivers are both on bye weeks. So I have like no chance at coming back from this shit. Because it's
Shit.
Justin Jefferson from the Vikings, who was my first round draft pick. And then I have AJ Brown, who I ended up trading away my like 5th round draft pick and a 1st round pick. So my 5th round draft pick, the pick that I made in the 5th round, plus my 1st round draft pick, so they would have the 1st round, is what I traded away to get him to make my team a little bit better. And then things didn't go to plan. So now I've been able to recoup a 1st round draft pick and actually maybe get some talent for the future. Plus,
right.
Yeah, so that's
because nobody could blow up the league this year either. That's also a thing, right? It's like it's
that is 100% a thing. Yep.
Literally,
Whoever
you guys
wins,
have to play next year. There's no way around that. So
exactly. Yes. So I should say that too for anybody that's listening confused on that part. It is technically not a dynasty league. It is an empire league. And if you win 2 years in a row, you get the empire pot and the league blows up. All the teams go back to scratch and we redraft. But until somebody wins 2 years in a row and gets that empire pot, it is like a dynasty league where we hold all of our starters plus 2 bench players. So we're really only drafting for 5 bench spots, which turns out to be like mostly rookies and discarded people from last year that people couldn't hold onto their bench. So you're talking about like veterans that might help you in bye weeks, plus rookies is what we're drafting next year.
Right, for sure.
Or like 2nd-year players that didn't do great year 1 and got cut. And then you go, maybe they'll do better. And you should see my bench right now too. I just had to say one more thing. I have nobody. I have literally nobody I can play. I am starting 2 tight ends. I'm starting 2 tight ends this week. I got 2 guys on bye week. I got other people that are out. I have Elijah Moore, who is a receiver for the Jets, who requested a trade. And the team is like, we're not trading you, but we're also just sitting you. So he went from healthy to out because he said he didn't want
because
to
he was a little
anymore.
bitch about it. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I thought the same thing, like he's being a bitch about it, but he's also really good and he's not getting any targets. And my thing is like, I want to know what his contract looks like.
Sure.
Because some of these guys have stipulations where it's like catch so many touchdowns and get $300,000 extra dollars. And if he's getting open every time and the play is just not being called his way or the quarterback sucks too hard to get in the ball,
right?
I could see how he's just like,
right?
Are you fucking kidding me? I have to catch 10 touchdowns this year and you're not even going to throw me the ball. Right. He got thrown the ball once that last game and it got called back because of a penalty on like the other team.
Shit.
So he only caught the ball one time and it didn't even count. He literally had no catches.
Because according to the stats, that's not a thing. Like it's a penalty. It gets called back, and even though it's nothing his fault. Yeah.
And some of them have like special things in their contract where they have to do this to make their money. And I could, you're telling me that I'm not going to make an extra $300,000 because of your game plan? I'm going to get pissed. Let me go to someplace else where I can renegotiate my contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
So that's my thought. Anyways, that's enough fantasy talk. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Hey,
Guillotine League seems to be okay. Other league is horseshit. Yeah. Guillotine League,
Guillotine was the one that I wanted to kind of do more updates on because I know that it's dangerous.
Right.
So it has that level of danger throughout the year.
Yeah. And last week, again, like your purpose is to not be the last. So scoring high doesn't really matter.
Right.
But I was the 2nd highest scorer. It was like one other guy and me. So like that's why I'm like I'm content. That's why you're feeling comfy too, right? I'm up on that. I'm close to the top as far as it goes right now. And this week I am the top scorer. There's only one game that's gone on, but my 2 guys both got me like 14 points. So I have
Fuck
like
yeah.
28 points between my two players. And obviously, there's, if I got two guys in this game, there's probably not a lot of other people out there, but it feels good to see my name at the top of the list, at least.
Hell
So,
yeah, dude.
but yeah, Cartoon Network. Let's talk
Okay,
about
yeah,
some
let's talk
cartoons, bro.
let's talk cartoons here, because here's the thing is there's a lot going on with Cartoon Network right now. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how much you know, so I'm going to ask you. Do you know about Warner Brothers and Discovery and all this stuff that's going on?
No, I don't. Can I also say that I randomly thought like the other week, it's just another ADD thing. I'm like upstairs doing work. Like I was in the bathroom for some reason.
Yep.
And I randomly think about like, remember when there was those stupid shirts that had the WB on it and underneath it was like Warner Brother? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
how stupid was that? And just like
I remember that.
randomly, I'm like trying to clean the bathroom and I just go, that was a stupid shirt, huh?
Yep, it was. Because
So
above it,
any
it also said like if you see the cops like half the time.
Yeah, exactly. It was just
Yeah.
some stupid shit, and then like, oh, it looks like the WB from far away, but when you get close, it's actually Warner Brother.
Yep.
But it's like kind of stupid, anyways. Like to
Yeah.
just rep
You're
the
like, yeah.
WB.
Yeah, that's some 90s shit, and it came out in like the mid 2000s, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
That's like some 90s humor. I don't know. It's whatever. Yes,
some
it's
shit you
very
saw at
funny.
the Mall of America right when it first came out. Look at these funny shirts. This mall has everything.
When really that shit was reserved for the fucking county fair. Like it shouldn't have been
Yeah,
in a
or
fucking mall.
Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh.
man, but no, I didn't. I haven't heard about this. So they
So
have.
yeah, dude, like there's a lot going on. So first of all, like Warner Brothers and Discovery are now like merged. Discovery made a huge bid to buy out a bunch of Warner Brothers Entertainment. Apparently, Discovery is doing fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the opposite way of what I was gonna guess.
yeah, and I
Because
think
isn't Warner Brothers like still a big studio for movies and stuff? Aren't they the ones that like put out most of the DC stuff?
they own DC just like fucking Disney owns Marvel.
Weird,
That's
dude.
my and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Please go over to you realaf.tv/contact and just fucking email us directly and let me know. But or put it in the YouTube, even better, put it in the YouTube comments and let me know if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty goddamn sure of that, because think about this:
Yeah.
every DC movie is a Warner Brothers movie,
Yep. I think so.
and I believe that is because not of a deal, but because of the fact that they actually own the DC, because the CW, also a WB product, all of the DC shows, Flash, Supergirl, shit like that,
Mm.
that's all Warner Brothers, right? I guess Warner Brothers owns HBO in some way, or did own HBO in some way. They're part of the deal because Discovery Plus and
Hmm.
HBO Max are talking about merging in 23. So
Oh,
Discovery Plus
that
and
will
HBO
be.
Max, I don't know, what are they gonna call it? Discovery HBO? I don't know. They're talking
Yeah.
about merging it. That sucks because that means I'm gonna have to pay $10 to get Discovery Plus, instead of the $5 that I pay now. But Cartoon Network is part of the WB acquisition. But what this all did is it merged it under Discovery. So like the guy from Discovery basically is like, here's a shitload of money. Also, you guys are
Yeah.
hemorrhaging it money, and
Yeah.
I'm about to fucking bring down the guillotine to go back to
Right. Right. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, his deal was basically like, I'm gonna buy you out, and then I'm also gonna make you efficient. And by efficient, he
Mm.
means I'm gonna cut the fucking shit out of what you're doing.
Cut the
And
fucking sh-
so, like, there was a Batgirl movie, canceled it.
Oh,
Just got rid of
really?
it. Yeah, he just got rid of it. They probably saw it and knew it was a piece of shit, because when was the last time you seen a good DC movie? Joker?
The Joker was good. Yep. It's all that dark shit. The dark
Yeah,
shit is good. When they try to be serious about it, it doesn't go well.
no.
Superman. I never saw Aquaman, but I didn't hear a lot of good things about
Yeah,
it.
Aquaman's only okay. I bought it for my wife,
Yeah.
Jason Momoa thing, you
There
know?
was like the Justice League, but that's one of those like where
Yeah.
it's like where it's Marvel stuff where you have to see
Yep.
all of it.
Yep.
And Marvel's good enough that I've saw all of it, so I can go watch like the Infinity Ward where it's like all of
Right.
them together. And
Yep.
Justice League comes out, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna follow along if I don't watch any of these other ones, and I'm not really looking into watching any of this other bullshit.
Yeah, dude,
So
for real. That's
yeah,
the problem. It's just like it's these DC movies, they just don't even seem to they just don't seem to do well. And so like, yeah, it's been a rough, I think a rough deal for them. So
yeah,
I really do think that is one of the big things that this Discovery exec has come in and got cut. So to sidestep all of the like layoffs and shit like this, we can't totally sidestep it, but this guy came in and he's like, I'm making cuts, and that's just going to happen. So Discovery now owns, or I don't know, whatever the merger, however you want to say it, right? There's
yeah,
WB, there's WB Animation, there's Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera's under all that now. Hanna-Barbera, freaking Yogi
yeah.
Bear and
All the old
Scooby-Doo.
school.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Yeah, all them
remember.
properties. Yep. Good
I
shit.
remember. Yeah, I can't think of any of the other ones right now, but I know everything that it has in under that umbrella. Hanna
Yeah.
Barbera is like all the old school cartoons that
Dude,
isn't
Boomerang,
Looney
like the
Tunes.
Boomerang network back in the day. Did you get that? Did you see that ever?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but like I had, it was like that renting a car with the Sirius thing. Like you go to a hotel that has
Yeah.
cable, and I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah,
shit, I
yeah,
get
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch Rugrats or I get to watch Boomerang. Like I see
Right.
this stuff,
Yeah.
early
100%.
morning before we go out and do anything. I'm turning on the TV just to be like,
Yep.
look, it's a cartoon I've never seen before. This is awesome. Like
What was
just losing
Boomerang
my
in
shit. My
68?
parents are,
Hell yeah.
my parents are, I remember that being the thing too, where my parents are just like, let's go to the pool. And I'm like, I am busy watching a cartoon I've never seen before.
Haven't you seen this episode? How are these teenagers going to catch this spooky
Yeah.
ghost thing?
I've been to a pool before. You guys don't have this channel at home. It's like, yes, I'm going to go swimming, but can you give me 5 minutes to finish
But I
this
want to see
cartoon, please?
if
Yeah.
these meddling teenagers solve the mystery.
I'm learning. This ghost is freaking me out. I gotta get to the conclusion. Ah, shit, it was just an old white man. It's always an old white man.
Every single time.
Every time. I don't have nothing to worry about. Although that might be creepier. If I see a ghost in my house, don't worry, it's an old white man. Oh no.
Oh,
That's
wait,
not
that's worse.
that's not better. I don't know if a ghost can touch me. Old white
Right.
man, he can definitely touch me.
So Cartoon Network got wrapped up in all this, right? And so the big deal, how they're making the news right now, is Cartoon Network just went through a bunch of layoffs.
Yeah, okay.
And Cartoon Network is absolutely insane. We know that. We grew up on Cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We were highly influenced to say grow up. I don't know. Like,
Dude,
put
I would say,
however grow up is
yeah.
framed anymore. But like, for real,
it
influenced,
made
highly influenced.
highly influenced. I don't know if necessarily like influence is even the key. Like it was it was like it
Yeah, you're
spoke
right.
to my soul. It was like
It was just really relatable, right? Like there was just that was the
for
shit
me,
I wanted to watch.
it was like I enjoy this random my humor sense my sense of humor, say that backwards, but my sense of
Just a
humor
little
has
bit, man.
always been like I like to see like the jokes I don't see coming are the ones that get me the hardest.
Yes.
And random humor also got me, especially when I was younger.
Yep.
When I didn't see the stuff going my way,
Right.
or like where I thought it was going to go, it hit me harder.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's almost all Adult Swim was, except for
Right.
like the anime and stuff. I didn't really do much of the
Sure.
anime, but when it
And
was
that wasn't
all the
even Cartoon
comedy,
Network, right? That was just them buying that shit from Japan anyway.
right? Yeah, I don't know
They're just
exactly how
buying
they
it and
got it.
airing it,
It
like
definitely did see it, but like even some of the anime I still watch because it was so random.
sure.
And then because it was like subtitled, I don't know if it was spoken differently in the original, but like when they said the stuff, the timing seemed off, the dialogue seemed weird, and the random ass stuff that happened in it, you were just like, what is going on? And it didn't happen with a lot of them. Some of them were like, you watch it for like a half hour and you were like, that was a waste of a half hour. But there was another one that was like Footie Cootie FLCL.
Oh, yeah, Furikuri was
That
a
one
great
was
name.
just like, what is happening? This
Yep.
chick has a guitar, but it has like the pull cord of a chainsaw, and she hits the dude in the head, and then a knob grows out of his forehead, and you're like, that's a like perfect square, odd choice of a knob. And then that knob becomes like a giant robot, and the
Yeah, dude.
girl has a Vespa scooter that's just like blowing other cars off the road as she's flying by, and you're just like,
Yeah.
what is
What the
this?
fuck is
I don't know
going
what's
on here?
going on. Like, anime most of the time is not my jam, but this one, and they try to make it like all serious at some points. Like the girl's like walking up to him and
Yeah.
like touching his leg, and he's like, "Ugh." And they show that like weird cross vein on his forehead, and he's like, half getting a boner. And then she like smashes him in the face with her chainsaw guitar, and you're like, what is happening? I remember halfway through one of the episodes where it went to like all black and white, like cartoon style slides,
Yeah.
where it
Okay.
was like the old school like newspaper style.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're just like, what is this choice?
Sure.
Like I come here for the
Who
random stuff and now I'm reading half of what's going on and we don't have to. I don't get it. Like I get like subtitling stuff, but now we're just reading for no reason. I'm like, this is
fucking random.
absurd in the wrong way. Like you went off script in a weird way that I'm not into. Like I came here to watch some weird stuff because
Right.
back then most of the time I was incapacitated and just kind of like staring at the TV. And
Yeah.
all of
No,
a sudden
that's
I'm like,
totally
what is happening? I gotta read. What is this?
yeah. That's what Adult Swim was based off of for sure. It was just like, I'm super high right now. I'm really drunk right now. Whatever. I'm high and drunk, and I just want to watch some crazy shit go down.
Yeah.
And it was a thing that sober people were making.
Right.
Presumably, sober
Yeah.
people were making because it was fucking hilarious. And
Maybe
maybe what?
sober.
Right, I
Maybe.
know. That's what I said. Presumably, they were going to
Yeah.
work sober, but but it was fucking wild stuff. And so now everybody's just like, oh, they're laying off all these people from Cartoon Network, and it's gonna be, they're laying off a bunch of diversity, and they're laying off all these people who did this, this, and this. Dude, Cartoon Network. I didn't realize it, but like Powerpuff Girls, Ben 10, Adventure Time, Ed, and Eddie. This is all Cartoon Network stuff.
Oh yeah.
This aside from the Adult Swim that we were talking about, like the Adult Swim stuff that we're talking about. I mean, we've talked about Rick and Morty at end. Obviously,
Oh
Rick and
yeah.
Morty's not going anywhere. I mean, come on, to cut Rick and Morty, you'd be a fucking moron. But that shit is going hard right now still.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
where I'm going is like, there's just all this uproar, right? Because this guy from this Discovery exec was just like, WB Animation and Cartoon Network are now just becoming one operation. And that means that there's too many people.
Oh.
So to
Yeah.
me, even reading articles on it, it was just like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of like a bunch of executives. It just sounded to me like there was a bunch of management that had to go. It
Mm.
didn't sound to me like a bunch of the writers were getting cut. It didn't sound to me like a bunch
Yeah.
of the animators were getting cut. It sounded to
Well,
me that like there's no need for two executive producers on Ed, and Eddie anymore. And they're
right.
not, he didn't even kill the brand. Just so
Well,
you know, like
probably
Cartoon Network is still a thing.
yeah, and maybe never. Maybe the executive producer was never needed in the first place. And and what happens
Sure,
in some of this stuff because I've listened to so many podcasts and I've heard so many comics and people that are just like put out their YouTube and do other stuff, and they're just like, it's so nice to be out on their own, is because these executives are always trying to put in their 2 cents, because if they're not, then what are they there for?
Right.
So they're just putting in their 2 cents to try to change things for no reason at all.
Yeah.
When the creators made something that was awesome and it should just be able to be put out like it is. Sometimes an executive producer has a good thing, and I'd really enjoy it if there were executive producers that were out there to just be like, all right, I bring something different to the table. What if you did this? You think that would work? And just to give somebody a different perspective, for them to just be like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Yeah, I think we could do that. Instead, they're just like, no, I don't like that. I don't think that would go. I think you got to do that. I think you got to, or just like random, like Rick and Morty. Does the bug man with the 4 legs, does he have to have 4 legs? I think he should have 6, and he should be blue. And then they're just like, what? And it's just like, yeah, I mean, if he's yellow, people might get offended or whatever. And they're just like, what the fuck is this happening? Who is this guy? And he's just like, he's the executive producer, and he had nothing to say. But he had to throw in that stupid little piece, because if he doesn't, why is he here?
What is what is he actually doing? Yeah.
And hopefully that's one of those things where they're just like, yeah, your job is bullshit, because really, why are some of these guys here? And like I said, if you're legitimately brought in to be like, here's a fresh take on things, take it or leave it, and the studio can be like, your input, because we know you're a creative person and we've seen what you can do, is valuable, whether it makes it or it doesn't make it. We just want you guys to work together and toss out some ideas and stuff. And instead, there's that executive producer that's just being like, I have to be validated. And the studio's like, why aren't you validated? You're not validated. You get the fuck out of here then. So that maybe that's what happened, where they cut him. I don't know. But some of that shit is like bonkers, where it's like people just putting in their 2 cents for whatever. And that's why so many people are putting out their content by themselves, for themselves, on their own website, putting it behind a paywall, because then nobody else is getting in there trying to tell them how to change anything, how to do anything, because they're the creative force, and nobody else is screwing with their stuff instead of, because that's got to be like one of the most embarrassing things or shitty things too later, where you're not allowed to talk shit as a performer, as a creative, to be out there and be like, I put together this, and they just go, it's kind of a weird choice you made there. And then you gotta be like, yeah, it's,
wasn't my choice.
So it wasn't,
but you can't say it wasn't my choice, otherwise the fucking network could give you the axe, right? Like,
so you can't say anything
basically in public.
So they just get embarrassed, and they're just like, yeah, I mean, it's like, it didn't go over well. I thought it would go over better. It's my fault. Just like, can I please just feed my family? Please keep it. Please don't take away my money.
No, it's hard. It's so hard, because right now the internet just sees like, 300 jobs got cut, or 86 jobs got cut from Cartoon Network, and Cartoon Network's been this force, and the internet wants to just shit on this guy, this big exec. You're like, oh, big buyout, look, of course he's going to do that, shit on the little guys. And then you kind of go like, yeah, but then look at this internet, you created the independent outlet, and you give people like Tim and me, I totally hear what you're saying. I say, like, you're just repeating what you've heard other people say, is what I'm getting at. You're not saying that these people who are getting cut are worthless people. You're saying, I listen to enough independently released media on the internet to say, yeah, there's a lot of executives that are just fucking extra baggage.
There's a lot of people out there that are voicing their opinions on how poorly it has gone when other people have stuck their nose in it, and that's why they're independent now.
Right. Yeah. And hopefully that's the case, because again, they're not like this merger is not killing the Cartoon Network. They're
Right.
not giving it the axe. It's still a brand. It's still technically working on all the stuff. Like there's been no mention of
Yeah.
cancellations of anything yet. They're just merging it into WB Animation, which was
Right.
just another animation brand, right? And they're
Well,
just like
right.
bringing
And
them
I mean,
together now.
if WB has DC and
Cart-
like all the Cartoon Network, I mean,
yeah,
it seems like it's just this massive combination of like all these different things to be able to even compete with Disney, because
right,
Disney has Marvel plus all their cartoons
right,
plus this other stuff.
right.
So Discovery, also, if you're looking for a name, Discover HBO sounds pretty good.
Hey,
Go with that.
go with that, guys.
And
That,
then
that one for
and
free.
and then and then go ahead and put all that stuff out there, and then you
Yeah.
have this stuff where it's like maybe our cartoon, like it's like a lesser form though all around, like you're doing your
Sure,
best, but
sure, sure.
your cartoons aren't really standing up to the legendary status of Disney.
Right, right,
Your DC isn't standing up to the legendary status of Marvel.
right,
It's like, but I think it's almost the more adult version of everything, right? Like your cartoons are adult cartoons.
right,
Your DC is more adult than your Marvel, because there's
right.
no R-rated Marvels, I don't think.
Nope, I'm pretty sure.
So
I mean,
it's
definitely
like,
since Disney took over, there's not.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just like a
that's not entirely
darker.
true because technically, Deadpool is a Marvel property, and they were already
Oh
R-rated when they
yeah,
bought it, so
yeah. I don't
it
know if Deadpool's even on there.
balance that. Yeah, it's weird. It's not on Disney Plus. You
It's
can't
not.
just go to Disney Plus and look up Deadpool.
Okay, yeah, because I
I'm
have
very,
Disney
very
Plus, but
sure of that,
yeah,
but
I've not looked at that. But HBO too, when you're like mixing all that stuff together, if
right,
that is
right,
going together, HBO is like as adult as you can get.
right.
All their
It
their shows are. And
I mean,
also, like, dude, just random
Game of
side
Thrones.
note, since we're talking HBO real quick, House of Dragons.
Hmm,
I've heard rave reviews and people are just like, oh, we're
yeah,
giant House of
yeah, everybody's
Dragons
into it.
things. Why? Because you like soap
Oh,
operas?
oh shit.
I'm
Oh
just
shit.
like it's not a bad show, but why do you act like it's so great? It's about one family. I've been trying to tell my
Yeah.
wife because she never watched the original Game of Thrones with me.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, the original Game of Thrones had like zombies and this giant wall. There's giants. There's
And a
all these
whole
different
world too,
families.
like different
There's a
countries
whole,
basically
exactly. There's
ruled by
so
different families, kingdoms,
yes,
right? Like, it was fucking
yes,
sick. They had a
families.
whole
And
continent.
yeah, and it's basically the story of one family that
Yeah.
ends up moving without all throughout all these different things. It's
Yeah.
the Starks.
Yeah.
It's all these different
Wait,
Starks
it's
that
about the
move.
Starks?
Arya Stark, the sister, the
You're talking
dad,
about Game of Thrones now.
the original Game of Thrones.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Shit, man.
So,
I thought you
because
were talking about the new one, and I'm like, that
no,
ain't
no,
the
no. So
Starks.
I'm
That's
saying,
the
like it's
Targaryens.
initially, it is about one family, just like the Game of Thrones House of Dragons. It's about one family. The first one's about one family, and it splits it up, and it shows their travels, and it shows all this different stuff.
Right, right,
And
right,
there's so much that goes on. Also, their 8 seasons literally span over like 8 years.
right.
This new one is so goddamn confusing. It keeps skipping like 5 years into the future. The first
Oh,
like
they
two
took the Witcher
seasons,
approach.
the they recasted a bunch of people, and
Oh,
then they don't
what?
recast half of the cast. They're just like, oh, it's 10 years in the future now.
Oh,
Those people are different people now because they're older, but these guys over here, they're the same people.
oh
They're
no.
just older and like some
And
of
so
them
you're just
don't even
supposed to
look like they
accept that.
aged. Yeah, you're just like, okay, so that guy's the same guy, but who the fuck is this guy? Or you see who are these people, and then they're just like, oh, that's that person. And you're like, oh, and you don't know. It doesn't say at the beginning of the episode,
Mhm, mhm.
10 years since
Right.
the last
No, you're supposed
episode.
to connect it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're just like,
That's what
what
The
is
Witcher does
happening? Who are
on,
they?
Netflix. It works
Oh,
out for The
really?
Witcher. I really think that it works out for The Witcher because you you start to merge them all again. Like, it kind of goes it gets weird, but so we're not gonna get into it, but I get what you're saying, and
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
very confusing. It took me a long time to wrap my head around it. I
Yeah.
didn't like it. but I get it. It's a
So I'm
direction.
just I'm
But
just
like
not
focusing on one family and doing that shit, I just feel that's
well,
weird.
and they like almost never leave the same area. Like we're in the same spot the whole time. Like things just haven't really changed. Like I feel like it's boring. Like I'm just sitting there dragging on. Like I got my wife to watch this
Dragon,
one
nice,
finally,
good pun.
and I'm just dragging on. Bam! I didn't even try, but boom! What? But I got her to watch this. Oh, what? I don't know what's going on. Fistful of bourbon, y'all. Y'all. I've been saying y'all lately too. What's that all about? I don't know. Fistful of bourbon. Keep coming back to that. But I got my wife to finally watch this one with me, and it's like the whole time I've been trying. Like I just feel like this one's. You should have watched the last one with me. You should have. That's what I just keep saying. And
Right,
people
right.
like this one, and I don't really get it. I don't
That's
think
good
it's
to know.
bad. I think it's
Right.
starting to get better. I really think I'm not going to try to give any spoiler alerts, but I really feel like we're starting to come into something now.
Yeah.
But we're like to the 8th episode. Like the season's almost over. Like it took almost a full season before we started getting to like where I'm like, okay, it's feeling better now. And there's a couple
Yikes.
of parts where people are just like, that was intense. Can you believe that scene? And I'm like, that was crazy, but it was just a crazy scene amongst all this other bullshit. It's
Right,
your
right, right.
storyline
They
wasn't
just
good enough
weaved in
to.
something decent. Like
Yeah, dude, I find myself having to put on subtitles all the time because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're even talking about.
because they're speaking in their like European
They're
accents,
they're
right?
old school English. I didn't have that
Yeah.
problem
I
with
had
the
that trouble
last
with
Game of Thrones.
I did in that one, so I
Did you?
fucked this one then. Even when
Yeah.
even when Discovery and HBO merge and I don't cancel my Discovery Plus, fuck that. I
Well, I
don't think
think
I'm gonna watch it.
part of the problem is like I don't even know who the characters are right now. So you're trying to have this old timey English talking
Right.
about these people, and I
And
don't
you're
even
trying to
know.
figure out who is
Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure
Khaleesi,
who that guy
right?
is
Right.
because I'm like, he's not the same actor as he was in the last episode.
Right.
He's that person, but he's not the same actor anymore.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know. So
So fuck that. But good.
it's like the Shakespeare thing, like the old one.
Mhm.
Like Shakespeare is good enough that like you don't know what the hell they're talking about, but you still get it,
Yeah, for sure.
Like we went and saw the Comedy of Errors in high school
Yep.
in a play.
Yep.
And when you see it acted out, you're like, it's such old-timey wording.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
But I'm still laughing at the Comedy of Errors is what it was. I'm still laughing at it. I'm still
Right.
following along, even though I don't know
You
what they're
still get it.
talking about.
Yep. Even though it's
It
super
was
hard
like,
to understand the
yeah,
dialogue.
yeah. It was well enough acted, and it was well enough like the way everything was moving that you could follow along in the original Game of Thrones. And this one, I'm like, it's just a bunch of people sitting at a table, and I'm like, so I'm 100% left to just understand the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like your acting isn't helping me along. So yeah, not a fan of that one.
All right. Well, shit. That really brings us to the end of that topic.
Yeah.
It's long enough. We talked first half, we talked fucking fantasy football. We're talking about Cartoon Network now. And we got in because the whole merger, I mean, that's probably actually what I'm gonna call this is the WB like Discovery merger thing, because that's really what it came down to, because the cartoon thing. But before we exit, Tim, I promised
Yep.
I would look it up. There is a new Aqua Teen movie. And guess what, dude?
Yeah.
It's like 2 weeks away.
What?
November 8th, dude.
Oh, does it have a name?
It does. So there's a new Aqua Teen movie, and it's coming out on November 8th. Here's the thing. Straight to DVD.
What's it called?
Straight to digital, whatever. Like November 8th, you're just going to be able to get it. There's no theaters, and it's just called Aqua Teen Forever.
Forever.
Yeah, that's it. It's Aqua Teen Forever. Plantasm. I don't know. It's a made up word. Plantasm. Plantasm. It's a made up word.
That's it.
That's the name of the Aqua Teen Forever. Plantasm.
Plantasm.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever. Phantasm's a made up word.
I'll check it out, man. Dude, I was crossing my fingers because I want like a Carl only movie. Dude, I love Carl so much.
It's not a Carl only movie.
Carl is maybe my favorite character out of any show ever. Dude, that guy is so. Oh my gosh! If anybody,
before we go off on that, let's do what we always do. Let's do the thing. What is the thing? Oh yeah, realaf.tv/contact. You can email us directly to give us a little bit of feedback on the show. I know I'm letting the random takes going a little long, but fucking hey, it's so hard sometimes when you're talking about cartoons and HBO and all this other stuff. I know it gets difficult to wrap it up. Come on. Hopefully you're hanging in there with us for the whole 2 hours and whatever the fuck the podcast ends up being. Don't forget to look us up on the social medias. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, Real AF TV. Remember, real like fish and reel. And you can also help support the podcast directly by going to realaf.tv. Right there on the front page, we have the Patreon page. You can go ahead and donate to us. Remember, Patreon is whatever you want it to be. You want to give us $50 for 1 month and then get the fuck out of here? Cool. Hopefully we can get you back. Hopefully we can get you to come back. But guess what? It doesn't matter. Patreon.com is the best way. Patreon.com/RealAFTV, real like fish and reel. It's the best way to support the podcast directly. There is one more thing. I didn't mention it. We didn't get to it in the goals. But I kind of replaced one of our goals with getting on new platforms, and we did that.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a video podcast right now. It's only available on YouTube. You can see the whole video podcast over on YouTube, Real AF TV. And there are other platforms out there. We know that support podcast video. We'll talk about it as we get into 2023 and moving, shifting around goals and stuff like that. But right now it's YouTube only that you can get the video, but we are on new podcast platforms. We're on every podcast platform now that I can think of: Amazon, Spotify, iTunes. If you can leave a review, please do that. Shit, man. It helps us more than you know. Tim bumped his mic.
So I was counting on my fingers and I karate chopped it. Sorry.
But we're really out there. We're on. And where I was going with that was that we're on Stitcher. I know I said it at the beginning, we're on Stitcher. We're on the Pandora network now too, as much as we can. We're trying to be out there, share with a friend. That's what really keeps us going and moving currently. Tim.
Yep.
I always ask you what I miss. Sometimes I miss stuff and you nail it. Other times I'm like, what?
Man, I think it's just the like and review stuff, you know? It's like like my man over there on the Honeydew podcast, Ryan Sigler, says, plus we're from Minnesota. Prav was on there for a second time. Oh, both good times. If you're willing, you know, if you're interested in Prav, local music, shout out Prav, shout out Ryan Sigler. But Ryan Sigler always says that it means nothing to you guys and it means everything to us. So if you could give us that 5-star review and be like, these guys are just like handsome or whatever. I don't, you say whatever you want. I don't care. You 5-star review. I don't think they read them. You could be like 5-star review. These guys smell weird. I don't care.
I'd read it. I'll read it on the podcast if you leave us a 5-star.
We'll read it out. 5-star. I think 5-star is all they care about. Yep.
I don't check the analytics every other week. I don't check the analytics every time a podcast comes out there.
Right.
Transparent. All right. Yep. Tim.
Carl. Carl. Dude.